My name is Mr. OSP, and welcome to my first ever series. This is episode number 1. This first episode is really about providing background on what's motivating me to create the series, background on the account itself, things like that. In terms of progress, we're gonna get to about 75 attack, 75 defense, and the 89 strength, and do a couple quests, get a couple gear upgrades, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. So I started this series for a few reasons. The first reason is I've never actually had a proper main before. I've gotten to certain levels in the past, but I've never maxed out my combat stats or got them to a level where I could do PVM or any sort of endgame content. So I really want to experience endgame content, especially with all the content that's been added to the game. That is something that I want to experience, and you need to kind of have a high level account or a main to do that. Something that has allowed me to actually return to playing actively is the fact that the game is very, very AFK friendly now. With the advent of things like Rune Leaked, or Rune Light, I think is how you say it, the Nightmare Zone, the Gemstone Crab, all of this content feels like it was built for people like me, or people like you if you're a returning player coming back from nostalgia. Because there's a natural conflict that happens, obviously, when you're trying to play a game like this, is you have all these priorities in real life that you need to stay on top of. At the same time, you love this game and you want to play it, but the game demands real time out of you. It demands hours and hours out of you, hours that you don't have. So the fact that it's so AFKable also makes it very accessible. And I feel like now is the perfect time for me to return to the game, play it actively, and experience all the things that I never actually got to experience when I first started playing it. So that's my motivation for not only playing the game, but for making this series and kind of documenting the journey as I go ahead and build a proper main. Okay, so here's my account. And you're probably wondering, why aren't we in Tutorial Island? Why aren't we in Lumbridge level 3? Well, got a little bit of a story for you. This account, Mr. OSP, was actually meant to be a pure. Mr. OSP stands for Old School PKer. It was a free-to-play strength pure, and my plan was to build it into a members pure, and then eventually a Zerker, and then eventually a main. But that journey got disrupted. I was doing the Horror from the Deep quest, and during that quest, I was auto-casting and safe spotting the boss. And I hadn't played the game so long that I completely forgot that there's an auto-cast option that also trains defense. So as I was safe spotting the boss, I got the congratulations, your defense level is now 2. It is a pure's nightmare to see that message. And I was so shocked. I was like, how did this happen? And then of course I remembered that you can autocast in a way that trains both your magic and your defense level. And honestly, it should have been obvious to me. The defense icon is literally right there, but it just slipped my mind. I hadn't played so long. So I contemplated what to do. I thought, okay, well, really doesn't make a difference. Statistically, I could just keep going with my plan as is. And I actually convinced myself to do that, but it didn't last long. There's something about staring at your defense level and seeing it be 2 that is just a bit of a deal breaker. So I was like, okay, we're just gonna go straight to the end goal of the account anyways, which is to build a main. So forget it, forget the pure. We're building a main. I could always build a pure very easily later. A main is actually a lot more difficult to do. So let's just jump into that journey and build a main. So here we are. When it comes to progress, there's not too much to report at this point. 75 attack, 75 defense, 89 strength, completing a few quests, and upgrading some gear. That's basically it in terms of progress. There's a lot more progress to be made, and I'm very excited about it. For now, I will bid you adieu. Thank you so much for tuning in. and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace and take care.